Oh, my good friend, my Friday Frolicers, there you are. The grand news of, you just look at what, now you see what Israel have been getting up to since October the 7th last year, where they've clearly had the right to defend themselves. What's that you say in the chat? This was spitting image in the 1980s. Well, I stand at the foot of my stairs. Who knew? But anyway, I hope everybody is very well, and let's have a little look at who's in the chat today. And I hope you're all very, very well. And let's have a look. Yes, good evening, Mad Monk. And yeah, I hope everyone is well. Just a wee warning, apparently there's another storm heading to the UK. Red warning for coastal Wales and amber warning for most of the UK. And power cuts. So make sure your phones are charged and power banks are at hand. That's very wise word from one of my fantastic moderators. Good evening, Stephen Bankier. And yes, good evening, my friend and my Friday Frolicers. Another one of my fantastic chat moderators, Alison Clark. Good evening, my friend. Hope you're well. And I hope you've all had a fantastic day. Reagan Elite, welcome to my Friday Frolic. And if you're not subscribed to the man that is the legend, Reagan Elite, what are you doing with your lives? Get yourself subscribed. You'll certainly learn more than what you'll learn here. But yes, good evening, and my daughter, my lovely daughter, God's last gift. God's last sis, should have said. I do apologise, my lovely. Hope you're well. Hope you've had a lovely day. And good evening, Janey Bottle. Hope you're well. Pete's Music. Good evening, my friend. Hope you're very well. Ted Boy. Good evening. Wake up and smell the rosemary. I hope you're well. And anyway, Dennis Pennis. Good evening, my friend. Hope you're very, very well. Hopefully, I've not missed anybody. If I have, I do apologise. But anyway, let's get on with this. So, but now, all I can say is, shall we take a trip down memory lane, where Spaffer spouted this fantasy about spouted this fantasy, and then we will fast forward to this week, where let's just say it's you could say it's aged a little bit like milk, where you could say our Brexit extremists, they knew what they voted for, didn't they? And let's just say it's aged a little bit like milk.
We can take back control of our immigration system.
And found the previous government were running an open borders experiment. As the ONS sets out, nearly 1 million people came to Britain in the year ending June 2023. That is 4 times the migration levels compared with 2019. Because a failure on this scale isn't just bad luck, it isn't a global trend or taking your eye off the ball. No, this is a different order of failure. This happened by design, not accident. Policies were reformed deliberately to liberalise immigration. Brexit was used for that purpose, to turn Britain into a one-nation experiment in open borders. Global Britain. Remember that slogan? That is what they meant. A policy with no support, and which they then pretended wasn't happening.
We can take...
Yes, exactly. Well, Brexit extremists, you knew what you were voting for, didn't you? Yes. This is the Brexit you voted for. Yes, apparently the ONS says that 1 million people arrived in the ending of June 2023. 4 times migration levels compared with 2019, and any rational person seeing this, this will know that Brexit has been the massive failure. But if you're what you call the if you call the if you were, let's just say, if you were born with a silver spoon in your mouth, with a plummy accent, and lied to the Queen, then all you need to do is just make up your own numbers, don't you? And let's just say, last week at PMQs question time, this waste of space was on, and when you were born with a plummy accent and taught how to debate and say the biggest load of piffle in a posh accent and sound confident, you just talk utter drivel, don't you?
Someone who was a strong proponent of Brexit, that the figures for net migration were lower pre-Brexit than post-Brexit.
Well, hold on, they were completely wrong pre-Brexit. So,
are you disputing that they were lower?
Well, the figures, let me just explain. The pre-Brexit figures, it was thought that about 2 million people would register as a right to stay here post-Brexit. The figure was over 5 million when it was finally created. So for years, the ONS was giving us wrong figures on the people coming from the European Union. So yes, I do dispute that they were low beforehand because they were simply wrong. There were an extra 3 million plus people who had come in who no one was recording. So we then introduced a system that initially, of course, we had COVID, so small numbers came in. Immediately after COVID, there was this economic concern about destruction of labour in the domestic market, and it simply got wildly out of control.
Someone who was a strong proponent of Brexit, that the figures for net migration were low.
Yes. The one thing you can say about that private education, you can just say any ridiculous wank pish and do it with confidence, don't you? See, the thing is, what fucks me off more than anything else is the fact that why is he there? Why is the British Broadcasting for the Conservative Party wasting licence fee money on this complete charlatan and a complete waste of oxygen, really? Also, as you can tell, you looked at the audience, they were sat there thinking, for me, the same thing. Why is this clown from GBB's now thinks he's the posh version of Ozzy Osbourne with his reality TV show? Why are they giving him any airtime? Yes, when people who know more than he does and show what a disaster his government he worked for was, instead of eating some humble pie and apologising, he discredits their work and tells a pack of lies, doesn't he, with no shame, and then just throws the ONS under the bus. And for me, the BBC should be ashamed of themselves for giving clowns like this, fuckwit and other fuckwits like Toad of Turd Hall, who, yes, he gets an airing later on, doesn't he? And Spaffer Johnson on Have I Got News for You. But anyway, what do you guys think? Anyway, let's have a little look. Let's have a look. Yes. On the bus going back. Good evening, Yummy Ref. Good evening. Hope you're well and welcome to my show. Well, all right. Alison Clark, thanks for showing the Scottish Committee meeting. Very much. Yeah, no problems. You know, I was trying to. I remember when both Douglas Dross and Deirdre Brock left, because I was a bit gutted really, because if I'm honest, I thought I well, that's the Scottish Select Committee means going to be a bit dull and dreary, you know, like most of them. But luckily you've got Stephen Flynn there, so it's going to show some what I would class as plenty of fireworks. But yes, Good evening, global citizen. Hope you're well. And welcome to my Friday frolic. And I hope you had a good day and hope you have a lovely weekend. Well, you all have a good evening. Good evening, Stephen Binning. Hope you're well. Good evening. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. That's the care. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I know what I mean. Yeah, he promoted us low food prices from day one. Yes, didn't he just? And like most Tories, he will accept no responsibility. And as far as he's concerned, he'll always be all right, Jack. Good evening, David David McGuinness. Hope you're well. From the two Davies. If you're not subscribed to the two Davies, what are you doing with your lives? They know what they're doing, whereas I just make an idiot of myself. But I do try to make my shows as entertaining and hopefully informative if I possibly can. I bet his nanny is from the EU and he's on minimum wage. You bet your bottom dollar, yummy ref. You can, yeah. Farage was on again last night. Didn't watch, but saw a fight with Campbell. Oh yes, I saw that a little bit. And as I heard, a legend in the sitting room and more. Oh, thank you, Stephen Bankier. Much appreciated. Good evening, Andrew Luke. Hope you're well. If you're not subscribed to Andrew Luke's channel, if you like everything Doctor Who and stuff like that, subscribe to Andrew Luke's channel. Always very educational. Yeah, I just think, why are you giving this clown airtime? You've seen him on his GBBs. Well, let's put it this way. If I said some of the nonsense that he spouts in my Yorkshire accent, they would cart me off to the funny farm and think I'm off my trolley. Because he says it in quite a posh accent, and a low tone and a very posh and plebby accent. It's he gets away with it, doesn't he? Because they think, oh well, he went to Eton and he talks posh, so he must be super intelligent. And like I was saying, let's be honest, he was born. I would say born on third base, but his family probably bought the stadium where the third base is, so he didn't even have to bother starting there, did he? Yeah. There's always a sunny Sundays, and there's pop culture fancies aplenty on Wednesday. Yeah, exactly. If you're not subscribed to Andrew Luke's channel, get subscribing. You're missing a treat. Yeah, but yes. Oh yeah. Oh, it's Andrew Luke's birthday as well. Happy birthday, Andrew Luke. Many happy returns, and I hope you've had a fantastic day, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend as well. Exactly. Wake up and smell the rosemary's. That's right. You could talk shite in a posh twatty accent and get away with it. Yeah, absolutely. Spot on. Yes. Let me guess, Andrew Luke. You are 21. Happy 21st birthday, Andrew. But anyway, let's head back to the latest scandal that is now hitting, well, toppling this government at any moment. Yes, no, I'm not talking about the destination of the Parthenian sculptures. No, this is far, far more serious. Yes, the Louise Hague situation, and it's not going away. If only Mr. Lego Man fired her, if only Louise Hague had resigned in haste, they wouldn't be in the mess they find themselves in, would they? But, right, yeah, that's right. But anyway, our fantastic Femi, he did a video about this last week, highlighted an interesting take about these banging on about, you could say equality. And what he had to say was not only interesting, but very, very illuminating.
In today's episode of Oh My God, the Double Standard, we have Louise Hay resigning as Transport Secretary because 10 years ago when she was mugged, she said that her phone was stolen, but it turned out that it wasn't, and she said that was a mistake. We don't know, but anyway, she's had to go. Now, I have no loyalty to her or any Labour MP other than maybe Clive Lewis and Don Butler, so when I point out the double standard, this isn't a whataboutery, oh, look over there, they're not that bad kind of thing. It's just that it always seems that it takes much less to bring a woman down in politics, especially a woman on the left, than it takes a man. Because we remember these two, right? Boris Johnson and Rishi Sunak both partied during lockdown, broke the rules they set for everybody else during a national emergency, and despite being fined, Boris Johnson kept being Prime Minister for a whole load of time, and Rishi Sunak became Prime Minister after the fine. Hell, let's take a more recent example. One of the Reform Party's 5 MPs was found to have repeatedly kicked his girlfriend, but Nigel Farage says we should employ Christian forgiveness for that. And the hypocrisy gets even worse, because today we have Nigel Farage saying that Keir Starmer is too scared to take spontaneous questions from the media, and that this would never happen in a Reform Party conference, which is insane for 2 reasons. One, this was me at the Reform Party conference this summer.
I'm being physically pushed out of the venue because Reform UK, that is their attitude to free speech. A member of the British press is being physically pushed out of their rally.
2, this was Nigel Farage last night when he was asked about the violent criminal he hired.
You said you're going to put in place the most vigorous vetting system in place now. Do you think James Murdoch would not go through this new
you can have your fun at Sky News. We've got 100,000 members. I've got 1 million followers on TikTok. Dame Andrew Jenkins has just joined us. She's our candidate for Greater Lincolnshire. You've had your fun. I'm off for lunch. Thank you.
And the Labour Party had 26 cabinet ministers and Louise Hay was just one of them. But the Reform Party has 5 MPs, which means that 20% of his party went to jail for violently attacking a woman. And that's fine, but Louise Hay had to go. This is why those people are so scared of equality.
Yes, totally. Yes, very interesting take, isn't it? Well, yes, because like, I don't know about you, but I just think, am I missing something here? Just like she seemed to resign pretty quickly. Keir Starmer accepted it, and why is this still a thing? I'm sure there'll be people in the chat who'll put me on the right if I'm on the wrong. Now, we'll get to the Tories' nonsense about this later on. And I'm not saying she shouldn't have resigned, and I don't have a strong opinion on this because she resigned rightly or wrongly, and she's not going to come back, is she? I'm just wondering that this hits such a low bar for resignation as well. So that's something I found a bit strange. But what do you guys think? Also, where's the same attention being given to the Reform MP, James Murdoch? For me, Femi does have a point. Speaking of Refuck UK, according to that reliable news source of impeccable integrity and the attack dog for the truth. No, I'm not talking a Tory graph. I'm talking about, the reliable source with reliable journalists with integrity. Yes, I'm talking about News Thump. Yes. Hot off the press. Yes, hot off the press. Yes, hot off the press. Newsflash. Want to join us? We don't care about MPs having criminal convictions. Nigel Farage tells Louise Haig. Right. Yes. Louise Haig has been offered the chance to join Reform UK after she was forced to resign from her ministerial job due to a minor spent criminal conviction for fraud. Just hours after tendering her resignation, Farage reached out to the former cabinet member to insist that reform is a broad church and the criminal convictions are no barrier to being front and centre within the party. Farage told reporters, "Let's be honest, this is a minor conviction that is now spent and was literally no big deal over a decade ago. When it actually happened, she served no time in prison, suspended or otherwise, and though technically she admitted her guilt, her crime made zero difference to anyone. It's not like she beat her partner and was then jailed for their violent attack, is it? If Jason Murdoch can stand proudly alongside me as a Reform MP, with that in his criminal history, do you really think we're going to give a toss about whether she actually reported a lost phone to the police? We are a party on the rise, and the voting public have clearly shown they don't give a toss for two hoots whether our MP have done time. So Louise Haigh would be welcome with open arms." Oh, she's pro-worker rights? Oh no, consider the offer rescinded then. Our supporters will never tolerate something as morally repugnant as that. Yes. Yes. Yeah. So maybe the offer is not going to stand. Supporting those who kick the living shit out of the opposite sex, not a problem. Supporting the hard working of the nation is clearly a bridge too far for our toad of turd all. Also, when it comes to this kind of situation, on Sunday, you can forgive Pat McFadden for thinking that I might have a bit of a, what you class it as, a bit of a rough ride with how's he going to get out of this what you class as a bit of a tough talking with Victoria Derbyshire when it comes to wait till I get this. When it comes to this kind of line of questioning with the Louise Haigh interview, well, let's just say he had a bit of a plan up his sleeve, which is to basically not to ask any questions about what happened, as if the less I know, then the less I can tell.
Louise Haigh, let me ask you about her quitting, left her Transport Secretary job on Thursday after it was reported she pleaded guilty to a fraud offence 10 years ago before she became an MP. It was a past conviction that Keir Starmer was fully aware of. What new information came to light then that meant she had to quit?
I don't know exactly who said what to who at the end of last week.
You didn't check before you were coming on the programme.
But the result was she resigned. That's the critical fact. And I regret that she felt she had to go, because Lou is a good colleague. I thought she was doing a good job, but she's made that decision. We've got a new Transport Secretary now, and we'll carry on with the agenda.
Let me play this clip of what Keir Starmer said 2 years ago. Have a listen.
You cannot be a lawmaker and a lawbreaker.
Bear that in mind, because this will come back later on. I think you know where I'll be going later on.
He said that when he had someone sitting on his shadow front bench, i.e. Louise Haigh, with a conviction.
Well, I think when he's looking at that clip, he's saying if you're sitting in Cabinet, you can't be breaking the law. But
he gave her a job in Cabinet when he knew she had a past conviction.
But it's not the case that anyone who's ever broken the law ever can't serve in Parliament. I'm sure if you looked around Parliament, you'd find more than one. I don't know everybody's
well, then why did she have to, if it's fine, why did she have to go?
As I say, I don't know the details
of
every conversation that took place at the end of last week, but clearly between them they came to the view that Louise had to resign. And what I think is a contrast between the way that this situation has been dealt with and some other situations in the past is that it's been dealt with very quickly. We've got a new Secretary of State Heidi Alexander
Sure,
in
you've
place.
mentioned that. I just
carry
wonder,
on with the transport agenda.
Is Keir Starmer a hypocrite because he gave a lawbreaker a job in his cabinet, having said that 2 years ago?
No, he's not. I think he's appointed a good cabinet. It's a more united cabinet than I've seen in many years, and we're working together on this plan for change that we're going to publish this week, which will set out our priorities and, importantly, change the way that government is run.
Okay.
Yes. I like your style, Pat. You know, poker face, Pat. Yes, in other words, why are you asking me, Victoria? I'm only a cabinet minister, you know. She did her best to get into crack, didn't she? But he was having none of it. Clearly, our Pat is a man who lives on the edge, wears his heart clearly on his sleeve, you know, full of passion, and danger is clearly his middle name. Can you imagine the falling outs in the McFadden household being very rowdy? Let's be honest, he does give off the whiff of being quite the party animal, isn't he? But anyway, what do you guys think? Oh dear. But yes, let me get. Yes. Good evening, Cthulhu. Hope you're well. And good evening, Donkey Dave. Hope you're well, the legend that is. Hope you subscribe to the legend that is Donkey Dave as well. If you're not, you're missing out on a treat, especially in his live streams with him and Long John. Wakey, wakey. If you've not subscribed, you need to. Good evening, Mark Telfer. Yes, exactly, Martel. The boy needs his bed. He looks quite tired, excreting so much piss. That's, yes. Victor, bullish, regretting waste of space. Need to keep the pressure on McMurdoch. Yeah, absolutely. Spot up. Good evening, John O'Sullivan. Hope you're well. And Spank the Monkey. Good evening, my friend. Hope you're well. I bet Paddy downed the E's and Red Bull on the websites on the weekend, should I say? Yes. Yes. Good evening, Hank. Hope you're well. Good evening. Hope you're well. And hope you've had a lovely day and hope you have a lovely weekend. But yes, I turn fartard creeps up. Yes. Yes, well, it does. It absolutely does. But like I said, I just think, is this really a story? I was just saying, it's clearly been going on. I think the Tories got away with far, far worse. Like more than 20 sounds like a try at realism. MP farts in public, you can't be lawmaker and windbreak. Yeah, exactly. Wake up and smell the rosaries. He doesn't exactly look like the life and soul of the party, does he? Our Pat McFadden, I bet. Yes. Paddy loves Tea Party. Yes. Paddy A.K. Ebenezer good. Yes. But anyway, let's get myself up. Let's get myself all organised. You're in for an absolute treat here. Get myself all organised. Because on Friday, as we all know, the news that was hogging the limelight was the vote on the assisted dying private members bill. Now, we could have a chat with this, but I think this is supposed to be a bit of a fun and frolic day, so I'm not going to go too much into it. But where you saw there were a wide range of differing views and all seemed quite rational. But the topic, especially on this topic, but the trouble is, unfortunately, this topic does attract the nutters, sadly. And as you can tell, I've forgotten his name now. His name's escaped me, but he clearly got a bit of a live one here, and this guy is absolutely bonkers. Now, halfway through, you're gonna what? He pulls a face here that is quite hilariously funny.
In God's eyes, you're taking a life that is murder. And let me take it a stage further as well. The problem you've got is people seem to feel that, and what comes across is that death is the end. No, it isn't. It's the beginning of eternity. Right. And we've then got our eternal destination. Now, if the person has their life taken because they think they're going out of pain and they end up spending eternity in hell, which is eternal torment, no, this is not a solution at all.
So what do you say to the person who is in constant pain, terminally ill, wants to go? Right.
First of all, they're not okay. They're in constant pain. I understand that. You know, we work on painkillers, but also, and this is where I feel I'm going to apologise on behalf of the church because of. So when we're talking about terminal, I've got a friend of mine who was healed of terminal cancer by Jesus Christ. The church, sadly, is failing in its.
Look at that face as he's looking in a camera. That's a look as if to say, I'm looking at my producer saying, which prat put this loony on? He's as mad as a box of frogs. Clearly, we've got a live one here. As you can imagine, let's just say this call goes downhill rather fast and it just descends into utter nonsense.
Mission, because we are told that we will preach the good news to creation, we will lay hands on the sick and they will get better. That's a promise that we see in Mark 16, and Christians have got to start getting out there and taking what God said seriously.
Okay. Listen, Richard, I admire your religious conviction. I disagree with you fundamentally. And I don't think saying God will sort it out or cure it is helpful for someone who is terminally ill for whom
really
there exists
it's completely helpful because do you want them to go to hell then and spend eternity in hell? Because I certainly don't. That's the most unloving thing anybody could say.
I don't, Richard, but then unfortunately I don't believe that there is such a thing. So it's kind of a
when you
moot
stand
point
before God one day, saying I didn't know you existed isn't going to be a very good icebreaker.
No.
So look at it for yourself because you can have a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. That's the reality. It's about relationship. It's more than belief.
Great.
More than belief. But I'll leave...
Hang on. What is it then? If it's more than belief, what is it?
It's a personal relationship. Prayer,
based on belief.
To give an example.
Based on you believing?
Based on knowing God as well.
Mad as a box of frogs into this clown. Yes, it's a personal relationship on a belief of knowing God as well. Mental. Not only did it attract the loans, let's just say it. Unfortunately, it attracts the how I would class as the cunts like this clown, who as everybody, I suppose whether you agree with them or not, they seem to be quite respectful. Not this clown. No. He had to, let's just say, make it about himself.
And I worry. In fact, I am certain that as night follows day, this law, if passed, will change. Not as a result of the individuals in this chamber or in the other place, but as a result of judges in other places. We've seen that time and again. It may be on either side of the debate, but it will happen. This act, if passed, will be subject to activist judges in Strasbourg. They will change it fundamentally, and we have to be prepared for that. I don't want to see that happen. The last point I'd make is this, and it doesn't relate to what we might be able to do to improve the bill. It's something that we can never resolve as a House. It's that I don't think it's as much as a slippery slope. I think it is like a cliff edge. And I worry. In fact,
Yeah, Yes, our honest Bob. Here's my view. It's like, did I hear rightly that at least that clown Rupert Law, he basically got in contact with his constituents, and I suppose our honest Bob could have done exactly the same, represent either his constituents who don't want this bill to go through. No, our honest Bob, let's be honest here, wanted to make it about himself and his future leadership challenge. What do you expect from the rancid feces that's called Honest Bob? Well, let's be honest. You saw the conversation with what you class as our honest Bob. Not with honest, but with a poker face Pat. Well, on the same show, just like, I can imagine our Victoria Atkins will be thinking, I'm going to have a nice, easy interview with Laura Kunsberg. And then she'll have walked in and then just said, why is Victoria Derbyshire here? Oh, no. No, I'm not happy about this. And true to form, let's just say, it turned into a car crash.
Your previous government was criticised for the state of the water industry and the levels of sewage dumped in our rivers and seas. As well as making mistakes on legal migration numbers, did you make mistakes when it came to water sewage as well?
So in terms of water, we know, there's a huge problem that has faced the country. We have a very, very old sewage network built many parts of it by the Victorians, and that requires an enormous amount of investment by the water companies. But also, of course, we need to measure the quality of the water. And so I think it's right that in 2010, when we came into office, only 7% of our waterways were measured in terms of the quality of the water. We've changed the rules so that now it is 100%.
Great, so we can see how many more rivers and seas are polluted.
Well, we are measuring it so that we have that evidence.
Right.
And it is absolutely incumbent on the government now, as well as water companies, to ensure that the promise that water companies made to us that they were going to invest tens of billions of pounds in the next 5 years to upgrade sewage systems and water systems, they absolutely must be held
quick yes or no, finally.
Government.
Will you back the government's plans for stricter regulation of the water industry, including the threat of jail for water company bosses? Yes or no?
We not only am I very supportive of much of the water bill, we actually tried to improve the government's bill in the Lords a couple of weeks ago by bringing in measurements of how water systems can improve the natural environment as well. Sadly, Labour did not accept our amendment. I wish they had done, because we have to see our water system not just in terms of the safety of our water
systems to drink and swim. Yes or no?
I very much, we want to bring these.
Yes or no?
Yes, we very much.
Thank you.
Apart from anything else, we have wanted to ensure that chief executives are accountable. I used to prosecute health and safety cases, the most serious types of cases, and I want to ensure that bosses of water companies are held to the same high standards.
Thank you
very much. Jesus Christ. Let's be honest here. Whenever I hear these interviews, it just sounds basically to me as if it's like criticising the electorate for not accepting the gruel that we threw at them for the last 14 years. Look at the mess they left the lakes and the rivers, and you think that they've been trying to hold these companies to account, and they still don't seem to want to accept responsibility. It's as if, how dare you vote us out, you ungrateful peasants. Look at all them crumbs we threw at you since 2010. And you have the audacity to vote us out. Still no humility, no understanding. And why they were voted out and still no apology. It's just pathetic, isn't it, really? As I say, what do you guys think? Yes. Good evening. Good evening, Paul McShiblin. Paul McShiblin. If I said it wrong, I do apologise. Hope you're well. Hope you're very, very well. Yeah, exactly. Here comes the car crash with Thicky Vicky. Thicky Vicky. Oh dear. Yes. Bob Jenrick supports assisted dying for Disney loons. He must have nightmares where he's being chased by Steamboat Willie. Now I'd love to see that. In every community, there is always one guy who tells whoppers of fantasy tales. Whoever wrote down the mad rambling thoughts of goat herders suffering from heat stroke or high on gas fumes was crazy. Yeah. This woman's pure BBC sitcom character in the Dizzy Lizzy tradition. Her life must be daily misadventures of ridiculous scenarios. Yeah. Ah, lads, she tried. Yes, she certainly did. May I say, what a smashing... Yes, Cthulhu. Yes, yes. Cthulhu's bringing the spirit of Rick Mail to life, yes. May I say, that's a lovely blouse you're wearing. My given name is Vicky. I'm not a flaming thickie. I came from Billericay and I don't have a brain cell, courtesy of Ian Dury. Rest in peace. Rest in peace. Sadly missed. Yes. He needs his medication up. Yeah. Yeah, I wonder which donor paid for that. Quite agree. Is that what happens to my Buddha boy request? I know you are all angry, so this is a reminder. Something you don't see about these stories is that every so often they crap in their pants and sit in it for that. Give yourselves a wee smile. Yeah. Bob could just change the law to peasants only. Yeah, exactly, Cthulhu. I do miss him and all. I used to love Bottom and what they call it, the young ones. Also thought Filthy Rich Cat Flap were a bit underrated, but you know. But I did enjoy Filth, all that stuff. Now we're going to do something a little bit different here, because let me just get myself all organised. Let me get myself. So, as I say, I'm going to do something a little bit different, because knowing my daughter like I do, if there was ever a job that was, you could say, her calling, it would be this sort of thing where and doing something like this. And if I'm honest, it won't surprise me. The woman being interviewed is Alison Clark, who runs a sanctuary. And let's just say I've just given you the highlights, but I'll let the young lady speak for herself. And let's just say, people like Alison restore my faith in humanity.
So there's been a change of use with these premises. The landlady's lovely. She's trying to help us as best she can. But we've now got until the end of December to try and relocate.
Okay. And how tricky is that proving?
it's actually proved impossible. We did find different premises, but unfortunately that fell through.
Talk to me about some of the animals that are being kept at the premises at the moment, like Hope and others.
So Hope, my gorgeous Hope here, she's a real neglect case, an abuse case. So she came to us and has put on 10 kg and has done wonders with her rehabilitation here. So we've got her and we've got 17 others that aren't rehomable due to fear aggression, anxiety, bite history. That's lovely Eric on the screen now.
What's going to happen to these doggies, Alison, if you can't find a new place by the end of December?
I'm really upset because there is no hope for these dogs. They only know me. They're happy. They have a lovely life here, lots of enrichment, lots of love and care, and they show that back to me in so many different ways. But unfortunately, unless we can find premises for these dogs, then there is no hope for them.
So how can people help, Alison? What needs to happen?
Well, I can't believe the generosity of the public. We you know, when we set out just a little fundraiser to see if we could build our own, the generosity is overwhelming. I mean, we're nearly 50,000, but what we really need is premises. So anybody out there, particularly Wales or borders of Wales, if you've got some buildings or you've got a place that's not being used, please consider us and save these dogs.
What sort of building does it need to be?
Well, if it's barns, as long as it's got water and electricity and some land, then we can work with that.
Yeah. Well, and say the thing is, when I watched that, when she was talking, you could see the emotions starting to wash over her. You know, when she started to talk about these dogs. Now, I had an image in my head of my beautiful daughter doing something like this, not interested in profit or, you know, for attention, but to just give her beautiful furry babies her unconditional, undying love and give them, you know, a second chance in life. And because that's the way she is, really. I could also imagine, you know, let's just say for argument's sake, she had another half and they made her make a choice between them or the dogs. I know what she would do. She would say, do you want me to help you pack? And then she said, don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. And off you fuck then. Nobody comes between me and my babies. Yeah, that's what I just basically thought. But anyway, what she's done here is she has created a GoFundMe page. And if you want to help by either, you know, sharing the GoFundMe page or highlighting to anyone, you know, you might think could absolutely help Alison, or even if you want to donate, I've left it in the description box for you if you want, and if any of my moderators post it on the chat and you want to leave to help Alison, don't worry about it. I don't mind. Her needs, in my eyes, are far more important than mine. And all I can say is, good luck, Alison, and hope everything works out. So, yeah. Yeah. Stevie, sing. If I had my guitar near me, I'd have actually played it to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Cthulhu. Happy birthday to you. Sorry to destroy your ears there, Cthulhu, but yeah. But yeah, yes. Yeah, exactly. I enjoyed Filthy Rich and Cat Flap. Yes. Voted in favour of discharging sewerage into... Yeah. Yes, sign me up. I want to pet that doggy. Yes. Hope he had that little bit of a reminder of our DJ, because like we had a long-haired, black and tan German Shepherd. Let's just say he was the most gentlest giant you ever saw. Yes. Yeah, doggies galore. Yes. Yeah, exactly, regularly. I hope it all works out for her. And so you've had me singing away, making myself. Had me. You had me sing, destroying. You do realise that I probably lost 10 viewers as soon as they heard me sing. Oh, thank you, Cthulhu. Oh, that's made it up. Yes, I did sing Stephen Banky a bit, yeah. Oh, yeah, it's... Yes, yeah, you threw me off that guard there, because it's Andrew Luke's birthday. So, sorry, I've got to do it again. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Andrew Luke. Happy birthday to you. Now, knowing my luck, Andrew Luke will say, actually, it's my birthday. So oh, Billy Kershaw, my running mate. Yes, my running mate. Yes, we are forging full ahead with Doge and Project 2025. Yes, I sang. Spanked a monkey. There's a rumour that Max and Allshorts will do a duet on Max's upcoming Christmas sing-along album. Will you be doing a track on it? Yes, if they hum it, I'll play it. No worries, Andrew Luke. Oh, don't worry about Reagan. You know, if just as long as hopefully you're enjoying the. Thank you, Cthulhu. Yes, I've written a few songs, but I'm a very, very reluctant singer. Very, very reluctant. But yeah, as I said, yeah. Cheers, Alistair Cairn. Yeah, thanks for putting her GoFundMe page in the chat. But yeah, I do hope everything does work out, and yes, yes, politics YouTubers doing a rendition of Tory Aid. Yeah, exactly. Dad, do you know the piano is on my foot? You hum it and I'll sing it. Yes, I remember that advert. Oh, that brings me back years ago. But it PG Tips. But it the PG Tips advert. Can you get Dave and Long John to do the backing track? I think they could possibly pull it off themselves. I dread the release date of said music collaboration. My ears, my ears. Good evening, Roger. Hope you. Good evening. Yes, karaoke night with Daily Bliss. Yes, PG Tips advert. Yes. Yeah. I was only a kid in them days, but I do remember. Yes. But like as I say, you know, I hope everything does work out for her. But anyway, I suppose in a way, will this lighten the mood? Probably not, but it's quite in, because like apparently now I know you guys up in Scotland will put me right if I'm not quite right here, but last week it was the funeral of the legend that is Jane Godley, and I have to say, she's been the legend that, you know, taking the piss out of, you know, people like who like what we do on here, people who shouldn't be taken seriously, like Toad of Turdall, Tommy 10 Names, and probably our Trumple Thin-Skinned as. And I'll just say is a Friday Frolic won't be a Friday Frolic without, but you could say, paying a tribute to the legend that is our Jane Godley. Take it away. And let's just say, we all know what she's doing here. I love the way she just takes the piss out of these two and just basically highlights why these two are totally hated.
At the end of the day, Michael Gove told me, go ahead, Michelle, weigh in and get yourself some cash. So I just absolutely profiteered on the PPE, and then I said the company wasn't mine and the company was mine. I know I lied about that, but that's just a wee lie at the end of the day. I mean, I have managed to keep the money, but it's not my money, it's his money, and, you know, I'm good at putting it offshore. She's brilliant at hiding money, so she is.
Why didn't you just be more straightforward about it?
Well, I didn't want everybody to know that I had got all the money for the PPE and then fucked it all, and then the stuff I bought wasn't worth it. You're not wanting people to know that, are you? So, I don't know what your point is here, Laurie. You're just bullying me now. At the end of the day...
Yes. Rest in peace, Jane Godley. You know, and all I can say is just thanks for the laughs and let's just say absolute brilliance and a witty sense of humour. And could say you buried a big place in everybody's hearts. And I just want to say, I know I will only have a small channel here, but I just want to say my deepest sympathy to my family and friends. And I do know you guys, you know, in the chat, and a lot of my subs who do live up in Scotland and loved and adored her because she's, I know in all your eyes, she's a national treasure and will never be forgotten. So I just wanted to, you know, pay my tributes to an absolute legend. And let's just say, rest in peace. Yes. Brill. Yes. Yeah. There won't be government contracts in the Carlton Hotel this Christmas time. Oh, that's a great line for a song. Yeah. Yes. Do you think I could get to Christmas #1 if I changed the tune to Fuck the World? I'm only kidding, but you know what I mean. Yes. There won't be government contracts in the Carlton Hotel this Christmas time. Yes, the greatest gift they'll get this year is Hoyle's tea. The album would make a fortune if they start to GoFundMe to not release it. Those PG tip chimps were great actors. Certainly were. The Bra Lady by Janey Godley. Her Baroness Bra. Yeah, she was class, wasn't she? I thought her husband was in prison in France. Yeah, absolutely. She was class. Honestly, yeah. My wife's brilliant at hiding money. Yes. Frank, get the door. And those shoes are killing me. Yes. Absolutely, Stephen Bank, yes. She was one of the finest and loved worldwide, yeah. Yeah, exactly, Stephen Benning. Rest in peace, Janey. Oh, no, what is Alistair? Because, yeah, I'll be honest, she had me in hysterics a lot of the times. Yes. My brain already writing parts for everyone. I'm trying to think of something for Helena that rhymes with I'm literally a fucking communist. Nice one, Andrew Luke. Yeah, where's my click? And I won't do the Scottish accent. I don't want to insult you all. It'll be terrible. Where's my clicky pen, Frank? Get the door. I fancy fish and chips for supper. I nearly went Scottish there because I could just hear Jade say it in her head. I just, at the end of the day, I could not possibly comment. It's Christmas time. Time for Brussels and Granny's cheap wine. But yeah, she was an absolute genius. I'd come past the opportunity, pay me last respect when it's after her, when it came to her funeral. But anyway, let's get back to the ridiculousness that is reform. And let's just say, where do we start? Where do we start? Well, at the start this week, they had been given a major boost when one of the big beasts of the political world had joined their ranks. Oh. Give me a yes. Right.
So they are effectively calling the straight-talking Yorkshire woman Andrea Jenkins a liar.
They are on the bribe thing, yeah. Absolutely, yes.
Well, this gets more and more interesting. And I have in the past, you probably don't know this, I've been fairly critical of Nigel Farage.
I had no idea.
But
you tit end.
But you can say one thing about the man. When he is asked, when he is held accountable for the behaviour of his... So they are effectively calling the straight-talking Yorkshire woman Andrea Jenkins a liar.
They are on the bribe thing, yeah. Absolutely, yes.
Well, this gets more and more interesting. And I have in the past, you probably don't know this, I've been fairly critical of Nigel Farage.
I had no idea.
But you can say one thing about the man. When he is asked, when he is held accountable for the behaviour of his MPs or his members or his prominent people, they've called a whole press conference to announce this person, then he does always respond very maturely, very honestly and very fairly, demonstrating at all times a commitment to sort of probity and integrity and the importance of accountability. Because he was asked just last week, of course, about details emerging that suggested one of his own MPs, James Murdoch, had not only kicked 7 bells out of a defenceless young woman and been locked up for it, but also subsequently lied about it.
Are you not concerned that he lied about what he did?
Did he? He wasn't vetted. He wasn't vetted. James Murdoch was one of those many candidates who wasn't vetted at all by the party. Look, I didn't know any of this when I took back over as leader.
Sorry, I must have misremembered that exercise in accountability, transparency, honesty and commitment to probity. But that's the man, ultimately, who will be charged with deciding whether or not to respond to the story that you've just knitted together for us, Aggie.
Well, fortunately, perhaps, although I'm not suggesting that Nigel Farage wouldn't be able to respond adequately to it, the Parliament standard watchdog, Daniel Greenberg, might actually investigate this, especially because there's 2 different cases of it, and then that will be taken out of Reform UK's hands.
We shall see. I mean, I haven't checked, but I imagine he's on Question Time this week, is he? Or next week, so no doubt someone will be able to put these to him in person.
Yes. Yes. The political beast that was the former muttonhead of Morley Outwood, Andrea Flipping the Bird and straight-talking Jenkins, has joined the biggest political joke, that is Reform UK. Well, with our 30p Lennox Anderson, she'll fit right in there, won't she? But as the car crash, that is the Tory party, were just about coming to terms with the news that rocked their very foundations, the loss of Andrea Jenkins, they were dealt with more crushing news with another defection to Toad of Turd Hall's grift party of reprobates. And yes, it's our Tim Montgomery. Now you're not going to hear any bollocks from him, but you're going to hear the wonderful Maya Lothian McLean. If I butchered that name, I do apologise. Where she basically hands his arse to him, and it's absolutely a joy to behold.
I just want to say I don't understand how a vote for Nigel Farage is a protest vote, because everything the Tories are doing right now has been in part directed by Nigel Farage and his pressure cooker over that. He's been in politics since the 1990s, pushing these single issues again and again and again. Before Brexit Party, it was UKIP. Before Reform, it was Brexit Party. He's constantly banging on immigration. The Tories are backed into a corner on their migration policy because of Nigel Farage, and then he gets to come along and you say this is a protest vote. It's not a protest vote. You're voting for the same thing again and again and again, and it will never be enough. First it was Brexit, and no, that wasn't actually delivered properly, and then now it's going to be the ECHR. When will it stop? He will never be satisfied because he is a constant wrecker. And the idea that he is going to deliver what's best for Britain when he and Reform have no ideas beyond this single issue, they have no coherent ideology, is actually laughable. It's upsetting. Our infrastructure is rotting, and he's here talking about both.
Let him respond, and then I'll tell you when it will be enough. When we have controlled immigration.
Do we not have control? We took control back.
The Conservative Party have promised control of immigration.
What more do you want, Tim?
I want more than a promise.
You need to be realistic.
I want delivery. And that's what
delivery obviously has ruined this country.
Let's talk about whether delivery is possible. It has.
Yes. Yes. Well said. Maya Lithian McLean, as I say, sorry I've butchered it. She's absolutely spot on, isn't she, about the grift that is Toad of Turd Hall. I think I'm going to claim that because I just think that's just how I view him, really. And how Tim Montgomery has just left one clown show, that is the Tory party, and joined another clown show that is Reform UK. And, well, let's just be honest, I started to call him our Tim Toxic and Dim. He was given an opportunity to basically explain his, you could say, to explain his reasoning for jumping ship from one clown show to basically another. And let's just say that what he has to say is very interesting, but it's quite clearly just utter bollocks as well, because, as you can see, Nigel Farage said something in 2016 which just basically just blows his utter bollocks out the window, and it's well done, Farouk. Absolute genius is this guy.
I took the decision very recently to join Reform. I just feel the deceit, the gap between what the party promised and what it delivered was so great, it finally pushed me over the edge. Yeah.
The worst case scenario, economically, is better than where we are today and gives us the chance to start thinking globally and, by the way, bringing prices down for consumers.
I took the decision.
Yeah, just couldn't make it up, could you, really? Yes, he could no longer accept the deceit any longer. It's sort of like talking about shitting in your own hands and then start clapping in it, really. Also, that fartard statement in 2016. Really? Shows deceit has been a long-running thing with our Nigel Farage. And so clearly our Tim Toxic and Dim is just basically a complete wanker, isn't it? That's all he is, really. And let's just say, speaking of wankers, yes, we'll continue a little bit of the theme of our Nigel Foghorn of ignorance, because like our Toad of Turd Hall isn't dealing with the issues that the good people of Clacton, yes, Clacton, he really needs to start. Let's just say, you know, those who say that our Toad of Turd Hall, that's what they're just trying to say, isn't dealing with the issues that the good people of Clacton want him to deal with. I think they really need to start dealing with facts and evidence. Yes, our Nigel Foghorn of ignorance really has his finger on the pulse when it comes to dealing with the issues that are troubling his constituents. And Take it away, Nige.
So I'm in a smart hotel in London. I've got a cup of coffee. I want some milk. Let's have a look. We've got semi-skim. I don't like that. Oat milk. What on earth's that when it's at home? Almond milk. All I want's proper bloody milk, not left-wing options. Proper milk. What's wrong with me asking for that? So I'm in a smart hotel in London. I've got a cup of coffee. I want...
Yeah, whatever, Nige. Unbelievable. Yes. So if you're that poor guy, you know, remember them fires that happened in Clacton in his constituency. If you're that poor guy who lost his home in that fire, still waiting for our Toad of Turd Hall, you know, to get in contact with him and, you know, yank the fire out the pan, no pun intended, and sort out his or her desperate plight. Clearly they need to stand in line because and stop queue jumping, because our culture warrior has far more serious catastrophe to deal with, and they need his undivided attention. Yes, it's lefty milk, needs to be eradicated, and our Nige is the man to do it. I salute you, Turd of Toad Hall. Also, I don't think that the good people of Clacton are not appreciative of his solo battle to save the nation from the dangers of lefty milk. So much so, he started a competition where he got a primary school in his constituent in Clacton to let's just say do a competition of designing a Christmas card, and let's just say it went down like a storm, and let's just say shows you how popular he is.
Well, I'm in my office in Parliament. Big Ben's just behind me, and I asked primary schools in the Clacton area to send in their drawings that I would use for a Christmas card. The winner, well, it's going to be Dolly from Walton-on-Monet's primary, and that's her card, and that's going to be my main Christmas card this year that goes out. She's year 4. Runner-up that really did make me laugh. This one with the Christmas pudding, I love this. And this was from Evie from Holland Park School that brought a real smile to my face. It was different, it was fun. Well, I'm in my office in Parliament, Big Ben.
So, yes. Yes, the winner, Holly, if I remember rightly, she won an afternoon at Wetherspoons with Fartards where she will help, you know, with creating, you know, policies for reform for the next election. Should be a winner. Let's be honest. Oh, Holly, I think she can thank her lucky stars because it could have been worse. She could have won a afternoon having Lee Knock Powell cook one of his 30p meals. Unbelievable. But yeah. Yes, Clacton, man. Stephen Banky, yes, I thought he preferred milkshakes. Stay safe and stay well, Cthulhu. Mustache. Great seeing you all again. Enjoy your weekend. You too, Cthulhu. You have a fantastic weekend. Yes, Farage getting bullied again. Certainly is my daughter. Yes. I saw a brilliant one last night. Hope they hold the next question time in Clacton, as it is the only show where Farage won't be in it. That's quite true, Andrew. It's very much so. No jumping shit, I mean ship. The deform. Yeah, absolutely. I thought he preferred milk. Yes. Mind you, oat milk might be messier. Yeah, that's a good idea. Good thinking. And slightly smellier. Yeah. Good thinking. Yes. Yes. Just call him full fat fartage. Yes. Yes. The Brexit promise. Cheaper food, clothes and other goods. Brexit realities. Food prices up by over 400% clothes and other goods the same, and all in short supply. Great job, governments. Absolutely, totally agree, Mad Monk. Sour goat's milk would be best. Absolutely. Yep, nothing skimmed about Frogage, and it might be years since he's known as Sammy. Yes. My milkshakes bring all the boys to the yard. Farage, probably. Yes. Yes. The only thing I learned how to handle reform people is to keep asking them to explain themselves when they make a statement and keep going. That's good thinking. I wonder if he ever had milk and that someone spat in because you couldn't tell the difference. Yes, yes. It's my birthday. I'm the king and get to say anything. You must certainly do, my friend. But yeah, when I saw them cards, I just had to giggle and laugh. I just thought that was hilariously funny. But this is something that I found quite interesting. I found quite interesting because, as I say, it's now this is another week has gone on where another celebrity's true colours have eventually been uncovered. Yes, we're talking about the predatory Greg Wallace's vile behaviour has been finally exposed, and again, just like in the assisted dying, where it attracted the loons. You know, those who think his behaviour was, you could say, they think it's totally acceptable. And the real victims here are Greg Wallace himself. I'll say this just goes downhill rather sharpish, and let's just say I've forgotten the guy's name now who does the show. His name will come to me. He's left speechless when he hears this. So take it away, Phil.
Well, Phil, what would you like to say?
Morning, guys.
Morning.
I think Greg Wallace is being ganged up on by humorless, witchy women.
That's not going to endear you with a lot of women listening.
A lot of women I know, they're not endeared to me anyway, mate. Greg Wallace is too blokey for him.
Mm-hmm.
They've got a chip on their shoulder.
Have they?
Yep. A lot of women.
Yeah. This is, you know what? This is what I love this program, doing this program. It's such a privilege. It's all about hearing diverse voices. And I want to hear more from you, Phil. I want to hear why you think this.
Hello?
Hello, Phil. Tell me more.
Well, it starts in school, doesn't it? It starts in the schoolyard, and it goes on all their lives. There's nothing worse. You know the women who arrange the flowers in church? Mate, don't get in an argument with them.
What do you mean?
Mate, they will gang up on you. You will be ostracised. You'll be bad-worded all over the place. They're merciless.
Are they?
Women can be merciless once they've got their teeth into you, and they'll strip the flesh off your bones.
So, to sum it up, you think Greg is hard done by here, and he's being ganged up on?
Yes.
Well, don't sit on the fence, Phil. You know, just tell us what you really think. Yes, stay away from them flesh-stripping women, and especially those flower-arranging church-going women as well. They take no prisoners, you know. Also, those middle-class women who will not tolerate a predator, their predators' unwanted attentions. According to our fairly, you say, you buttercups, you need to suck it up, because that's acceptable behaviour for those who are too blokey. Also, stop ganging up on him as well, because he's the real victim in all this. Not you. It's the poor downtrodden Greg Wallace who's the victim here. What a bell-tapper. See, now, the thing is, I looked a little bit deeper into this, I suppose, in a little bit of way, because I didn't look too much into the story itself. I just saw his name and I'm thinking, he looks familiar, but I'm not really sure who he is. And the more and more I sort of like saw little things here and there, it just seems to me that it's clearly just the tip of the iceberg. This behaviour is nothing new. We'll be having someone like him. Let's be honest, we will be having someone like him in the Oval Office soon, won't we? So, and the thing is, as I was just sort of like looking for any additional material and stuff like this, I came across this clip by Reese Witherspoon, and she said something that I just thought was very, very interesting, and it made me stop and think, and it's absolutely brilliant what she has to say.
What do we do now? Seriously, I'm not kidding. Go back and watch any movie, and you will see this line over and over again. You're going to see it now. What do we do?
What do we do now?
So what do we do now?
What do we do now?
What are we gonna do?
What do we do? What do we do now? What do we do now?
Smile.
What do we do?
What do we do?
What do we do now? So what do we do now? What do we do now?
So what do we do now?
And I love to ask questions, but it's my most hated question. And I dread reading scripts that have no women involved in their creation, because inevitably I get to that part where the girl turns to the guy and she goes, what do we do now? Now, do you know any woman in any crisis situation who has any woman in any crisis who has absolutely no idea what to do?
Yeah. Yes. So I have to say that. So the next time, as far as I'm concerned, I watch a film and I hear the question from a female actor. I don't know if they're called actor or actresses. I'd say I don't watch many films nowadays. What do we do now? I will just remember this speech, and when she spoke about dreading reading speeches, and then she realised there's no female input, that really got me, because she's spot on about some of the best, because as far as I'm concerned, some of the best crisis solvers are women out there, especially when it comes to, like, I say my wife, she's a housewife, and well, she was when I was working, and as you all know, anyone in the chat who's been a housewife, you have to think on your feet, don't you, and be ready for any disaster that usually rises at any minute, and and it just made me stop and think. Like I say, it's just the tip of the iceberg. And also, I don't know if anybody watched PMQs, but there was a Labour MP asked a interesting question about this, and it stopped me in my tracks as well, because it kind of reminded me of situations at work myself, when I worked for Bradford Council.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Given that a significant number of members in this place are, regardless of class, women of a certain age, would the Prime Minister agree with me that when a woman of a certain age, or indeed any woman of any age from any background, says they have experienced sexual harassment or inappropriate behaviour, they should be listened to, supported and the perpetrator dealt with?
I certainly agree with that, and I think everybody across the House would. She's right, because, Mr. Speaker, one of the greatest barriers that women face when coming forward and reporting unacceptable behaviour in the workplace is having confidence that they will be taken seriously, and that requires all of us to put in place mechanisms and arrangements to make that possible. Everybody should be treated with dignity and respect, and I'm proud of the fact that the Employment Rights Bill that we're passing will strengthen protections from sexual harassment at work.
Well, now, I don't know whether it will or won't, but when I heard that question, it kind of reminded me of my time at council, because when I first started, I think it was around 1987-ish, 88-ish. And I was a young teenager, in the full vigour of my youth. I had hair down to my ankles, my Iron Maiden t-shirt, my drain pipe jeans, whiffing of patchouli oil, looking like a prize gonk. And they were all practically men that worked there. But as time went by, more and more women started to work for the council in whatever aspect, with it working in the offices or working in the vans. And I've heard plenty of tales of people being unprofessional. I still remember one story that stuck with me. There was a young lass. She don't work there now, but her father worked there, and I knew her dad really well, and I knew her before she started working there. She was a cracking lass, and I was working within a team, and I could tell straight away that the guy who was the leader of the team and his mate, they were just being wholly inappropriate and unprofessional. And I thought, well, what do I do? What does anybody do? Should I say something? Or is it my place? It was like, because in them situations, it could be a case of, if I say something, she might actually turn on me and say you're misreading the situation. But I remember that now I had no time for his mate really, because there was, when you see somebody and you think there's something, he smells a bit off about him, doesn't smell right about, you get them tingly feelings, you just know. And I can't remember where they went, but the rest of us sat in the van, and the conversation came up, and it was clearly obvious that she was not happy about what was happening. Because it was basically clear, so they thought, if a player's cards right, we might get into a knickers like. And they were just totally inappropriate and unprofessional. So I asked her, do you want to go into the office and complain about this? And she were a bit, no, I don't feel comfortable doing it. I even said to her, I said, look, if you want, I'll come in with you. I have no quibbles about it. But she still felt uncomfortable. And I just said, well, maybe you just say something to them. I said, look, if you don't pack this in, I'm going to take this further. And I thought, well, she's not going to say that. Well, anyway, when they came back, I think his mate, if I remember rightly, he walked in, he had a bottle of water, and he spilled it on top of her. Did it on purpose. And she basically looked at him, and they just laughed. I thought it was just laddish behaviour. And she actually said, he says, look, I'm getting sick to death of this. If you don't pack it in, I'm going to take this further. And you could see the look of horror on the faces, don't know what to do here, what we're going to do. And then instead of leaving it there, she returned the favour and poured water over him. And I'm thinking, well, you've blown it there. not going to take you seriously now, are you? But as I say, that behaviour shouldn't be allowed to happen, and I'm pretty much sure it probably still does now. And they were basically invading her personal space. And when I was sort of like looking at stuff like maybe talk about this little bit of a 4-minute video stopped me in my tracks, really, because it basically highlights that why I think that as a country we still have a long way to go. What you're going to witness here, I don't know if you've watched it, what you're going to witness here is just going to blow your mind, and it just highlights why women definitely do need safe space. You just couldn't write this script. It's just absolutely mind-boggling.
Bill's describing how a family night out ended in a violent brawl when a stranger tried to...
Also, trigger warning, there'll be some sensitive conversations that you might find a bit distressing.
Sexually assault her daughter.
He said something, I couldn't quite hear what he said, raised his hand and went to slap Beth on her bottom, which I managed to sort of block. I asked him not to do that. He said he was just having a laugh, just having a joke, and went to do it again when I blocked him again. I asked him not to do that. I was like, this is my daughter, please don't do that. And in fact, don't touch any other woman like that in the club either. It's just not acceptable. And then he went to do it again. So at which point the bouncer had come round and asked him to leave, and the violence just escalated right up from there. It was quite scary, I have to say, being trapped.
This is when a stranger interrupts the interview.
Hi. Sorry, love, we're just doing this thing for this charity. Can you give us 5 minutes?
He refuses to leave so we can carry on filming. So for the safety of everyone involved, we leave.
It's so ironic.
The report we're trying to film is about a campaign to create more safe spaces for women.
Is everyone okay?
Yes.
That was a bit of a shock.
Just a bit.
Well, it's ironic, isn't it, that we were doing a piece about safe spaces for women, and we were filming on a park bench in the middle of the day in Birkenhead, and we had to move because we didn't feel safe when that man came up to us and started threatening and intimidating us. Absolutely, yeah. I was starting to get a little bit scared, to be honest, because I wasn't sure, having experienced what we experienced a few weeks ago, what was going to happen and how that was going to escalate. So I was already sort of safety planning really quickly, which you don't think you should have to when you're coming out into a public area.
You could just tell the lack of respect when it came to people in general and their personal space, but to women in general, he just had no respect whatsoever.
Jill and Beth believe it's this type of behaviour that can make women feel unsafe in public spaces.
Do you think as women we're almost programmed to be on our guard on a night out?
Absolutely, yeah. Majority of the time, it's not women going and harassing men. It's not women that are potentially going to spike your drink. It's not women that are getting aggressive towards the men, because it is stereotypically the other way around. And I know obviously it can happen, but they're not subjected to it like us women are, and we do just want to go out and enjoy. So if we can go somewhere where we know we're not going to get subjected to that attention and behaviour, then we're going to want that, we're going to push for that.
Donna doesn't go out in the evenings anymore. The mother of 3 was sexually assaulted on a night out last year.
I just keep on thinking about it all the time. I try not to, but it just comes to my head.
How has what happened affected you?
I won't go out anymore. I stay in all the time now. I just come down to Smallers Women, do the garden. I don't go out at the night time now. I just get worried about men now. I'll speak to them, but I won't speak to them on my own. I've got to be with a few people. I only trust women.
Research by the charity Tomorrow's Women found 82% of women don't feel safe in bars and clubs. In response, they've decided to hold a series of women's-only club nights.
So many women don't feel safe going out at night. They don't feel safe being in bars or clubs. They've experienced harassment. They can't go out and have just a good night out without worrying about things like this. So it's so important that we have these types of events where women can go out and enjoy themselves.
Someone could have had the drink spiked, been sexually assaulted, and I think by creating a women's only night, we're ensuring safety and ensuring that they can just go out and have a good time.
But the charities had to deal with a backlash on social media.
We've had so many hateful comments from men. I think all those comments just show the reason that we're doing the event. They're very much proving our point. So, you know, we have created a safe space for women to enjoy themselves, have a good night out, and comments like that are just proving the desperate need for us to do this event.
The charity says the event's a starting point, providing a safe space for women to socialise. But the end goal for everyone should be to eliminate the fear so many women feel in public spaces.
Shocking, The absolute shameful behaviour, wasn't it? That would have been something Phil had done, wouldn't it? You remember the call ever on Radio 5 Live. So the thing is, in the camera pointing at these women, give it away. Now, he might have thought that it might be a laddish bit of jokes, but and if it was, it clearly went south, didn't it? And maybe he should have just apologised and then just moved away and didn't mean to upset anybody, but and apologise for if he caused any discomfort and left there. But his attitude basically makes the argument for safe spaces for women, doesn't it? And like when they talked about the backlash on social media for sorting women night out, all the highlights that society treat women with respect that you clearly deserve, it's a long way off, isn't it? See, the thing is, when I was sort of like watching stuff like this, it kind of reminded me of a situation that happened a little while ago, and it sort of like helped me to think how I should behave and understand these situations a lot more, you know, when I'm out socialising. I'm not saying I'm going out, you know, trying to touch women inappropriately. I'll say what I mean is, you know, when you're out drinking, you're enjoying yourself and enjoying other people's company, and you can be a bit all joking. And nowadays I sort of like think a little bit more about anything I'm going to do or I'm going to say. You know, I might try and say something a bit jokey and a bit comedic, but I sort of like think twice a little bit because it might just trigger a horrific incident somebody that might have been subjected to. So it's sort of like made me stop in my tracks and think more about it as well. Yeah. I went from being bullied to beating bullies. I protected my younger siblings. I protected my plus my older siblings were a bit tough. Yeah. Stuff like that makes me paranoid even in public. I have eyes like the hawk everywhere in case something. I know you do. I know you do. You say when you go to you stuff, you do your things at your community centre and like where you've been today. I know it takes a lot for you to. It takes a lot for you to do it, and when I see you doing it, you make me so proud. So I could totally understand the only way for this shitty behaviour to stop is for good men to speak up and tell the bad ones it's not acceptable. Yeah, you're right, actually. Yeah, women get laughed at, often dismissed. They're only having a laugh, love. We're only having a laugh, love. Yeah. Absolutely, Alistair. Yeah, just a knob, innit? I don't understand guys that do things like this. It's like they have no sense and just utter cunts. Yes. They've never been brought up right. Yeah, my sister had a bad marriage, 5 brothers, and she still felt unsafe. I've seen what this can do to someone. Took her years to get over as best as she could. soul destroyer. I can imagine. I'm sorry to hear that, my friend. And I hope she's in a better place. It's a good job I'm hell of an observant because I can avoid stuff like this. Yeah. But see, the thing is, you shouldn't have to worry. You shouldn't have to deal with stuff like this. Yeah, I totally understand Reagan. Yeah, it boils my blood as well, because I think it kind of, I think to myself, people who act like that, would you accept people behaving like that to a relation of theirs? Do you think they'd accept that? I bet they wouldn't. So what makes them think that they can do it but nobody else can? Almost women have experienced some form of his behaviour, including when they have children. Yeah. Hugging was such a natural thing when greeting each other. Even that gets frowned upon. Yeah, I lost a friend to sexual abuse. Something that helped but was also painful was putting in lots of reading on Panda's Pandora's Aquarium, a great advice website with a survivors forum. Well, that might be an interesting thing to look at, really. Yes, I was just stunned in disbelief. Hello, can't you tell there's a camera with the filming? It just distinct lack of respect. I was just, and the thing is, when I got into the Greg Wallace story, and I was seeing other bits, it just sort of like made me stop and think, and you think, good evening, Eric Davison, hope you're well. I've used the Angela code for a lass, been pestered in my bar several times over the years, always been resolved with least hassle. Yeah, I can't remember where I watched a program about that. It was very, very interesting, and yeah, that's an idea. Yeah, it's very, very. The guy was very lucky. His face was sensitive. Yeah, but I know this is a Friday Frolic, but when I got into this and started watching stuff like this, I just sort of like made me stop and think, because I think it kind of reminded me of well, I were out one night, and I walked into a pub and I bumped into an old friend, not seeing her for a while. So we were having a chit chat, and she was a friend of hers, and I'm not seeing her for a while, but as I say, because not seeing her for a few years, but she used to go with the blokes, and I just assumed that was her husband. It turned out it was her husband, and so anyway, as I'm chatting, her husband came up with the conversation, and he passed away, and me just being acting normal. I'm just going to put my hand on her and say, deepest sympathy. She went, "Oh, don't touch me." Now I could have, and it just sort of like, that's really sort of like one of the reasons why it just made me think a little bit more. Do you know what I mean? So, and it's. I say it was just totally innocent, but I didn't make a scene or anything. I just apologised. I said didn't mean anything by it, but yeah, since what stuff like that, when I saw that video, it made me even think even more. So, and yeah, I agree. Should be safe spaces for women more than anything. But anyway, let's lighten the mood. It is is a Friday frolic. Who knows? Whoever watches Matilda Thorpe. Yes. Very talented and very hilarious Matilda Thorpe. Yeah. Well, after our kamikaze bad enough, car crash, PMQs. Now, don't get me wrong, an improvement in recent weeks, but still appalling performance. Of all the topics, for me, bad enough could have gone with. She went with the Louise Hague situation, which, for me, it's fine if you're the leader of the opposition. If the leader of the opposition is somebody like Ed Davey, but when you watch this, the fantastic Matilda highlights the reason why Kemi should have stayed well clear of that topic, because it just basically highlights why she highlights why she shouldn't have done.
Thought she'd lost her phone, but then she found her phone and didn't tell the police. With me? Yeah, I did do a little bit of hacking. But no, it's not hacking, because in the Conservative Party, we call it cacking. So yeah, I did a little cacking on Harriet Harman, got into her website, and let me tell you, that was difficult. I had a lot of intent there because I had to guess her password. So I said that she was supporting Boris in the mayoral election. I think they call that election fraud. Yeah, you can get 5 years for that. But anyway, it was just a bit of fun. Boris was fantastic. He always remembered that, he's got my back, and he made me a junior minister. And that's why when they said about Partygate, I said it's overblown. Do you like the fact that I said the word blown? Something Boris knows a little bit about. He's just a good guy turned party goer, while hundreds of thousands of people were dying from COVID and their families weren't able to be with them to say goodbye. But, look at Louise Hague. She was a minister. Yeah, sure, I'm the leader, but mine's different. No, hers is wrong. Mine is just a bit of fun. Louise Hague.
Yes. And if you missed what she actually said and what went down, here's a little tiny excerpt, and Farouk puts it all together beautifully. Also sums up the nonsense that she says.
The country needs conviction politicians, not politicians with convictions.
Remember that earlier on with Pat McFadden, Pokerface McFadden?
Mr. Speaker, I gently remind her that 2 of her predecessors had convictions for breaking the COVID rules.
Let me say immediately that I've paid the fine and I once again offer a full apology.
Fully respect the decision that the police have reached. I paid the FPN straight away, and I'm extremely and sincerely sorry for the hurt and the anger that this has caused so many people.
The country...
Yes. Absolutely. I see, the thing is, I'd love to know who's advising her, and if she has any. And if she has, either they're incredibly rubbish or she's not listening to them. For me, anyone worth the salt would have said to her, after recent years, we have no moral high ground to go there, especially after Kemi Bad Enough went here. Oops. And as I say, Farouk makes quite a valid point on this.
The country needs conviction politicians, not politicians with convictions. Will the Prime Minister show that he and his government can be more than student politicians by asking you, Mr. Speaker, to extend an invitation to President Trump to address Parliament on his next visit?
Guilty on all counts. Donald J. Trump, the 45th President of the United States, was found guilty late today in a New York courthouse on all 34 counts of falsifying business records to conceal payments to a porn star just before the 2016 election. The stunning verdict was delivered by a Manhattan jury of 7 men and 5 women who deliberated for 2 days, making Mr. Trump the first former American president to be convicted of a crime.
The country needs conviction.
Yes. Absolutely. She's just the gift that keeps on giving, isn't she? Can you imagine if Keir Starmer had the charisma and quick thinking of somebody like Tony Blair, he'd have torn her to shreds, or maybe, and other, charismatic leaders, they'd have torn her to shreds, wouldn't they? And I bet he would have brought up this nonsense. She said, she certainly would have brought up this nonsense as well. Because, this is a woman who certainly has no, look at that face. She looks, there's a look of surprise of say, oh, I've forgotten about this. But yes, I hadn't, and I would have brought this up as well.
10 years ago, I hacked into, oh my God, it's about, hacked into another MP's a Labour MP's website. And I changed all the stuff in there to say nice things about Tories.
Yeah. Laugh it up. Yes. See, let me get back there. For me, these are the questions from a part that should be asked from a party that don't have the stench of behaviour the Owen Patterson scandal, the Partygate, the VIP fast lane scandals, the mini budget, the COVID deaths. I could go on, but the thing is, I know you guys don't have a spare couple of days, and I would have asked, are you really going to go down this route, especially after the Priti Patel scandal and speaking to foreign powers, the bullying scandal and the speaking of foreign powers without permission, the Russia report, and Spaffer disappearing up Russia Mountain without officials and MI5 agents to meet KGB agents. Now they'll say, oh, former KGB, but as Putin says, there's no such thing as former KGB agents, is there? I would just say, you really want to go there? May they see also, the more I thought about it, I think maybe they know that clowns, let's say, for this moron, will just cover for him. Yes. 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 This man. It's Christian Carnegie. And you may notice that he has a on his backdrop a picture of Jeremy Clarkson. Now, if I were Jeremy Clarkson, I would get an injunction on this stalker because it looks a bit stalkerish. Just saying. But anyway, let's just say that he decided to basically say, yes, well, I'm going to savour our quasi Kemi bad enough, by coming out of this belter. Keir Starmer said on the floor of the Commons that Rishi Sunak and Boris Johnson had convictions for breaking COVID rules. Fixed penalty notices are classified as criminal convictions. Something are not classified as criminal convictions. Something you'd hoped a former DPP would know. Will he correct the record? He's come back, and then he brings up I'm not going to read the shitty rag, but apparently in the Express now, this little boy doing big boy's job is the political correspondent for the Daily Express. So yeah, exactly. And he brings out an article saying that Boris blasts Keir Starmer for misleading the Commons over conviction claims. Yes, our Spaffer Johnson, the man who Harold Shipman would have been proud of, because Harold Shipman has got nothing on this clown as a. and when I saw this, I think, really, you're gonna go there? Really? So me, in my juvenile sense of humour, oh bless, such a snowflake, can't you, sweetheart? Suck up, buttercup, and, as you can say, read, take it on the chin. I know I can't help myself, but so I am something, because I just think, really, you think that's gonna really wash? That is really gonna wash. But anyway, what do you guys think? Oh dear. Remember Cruella and the speeding fine? Oh yeah. Kemi loves a smooth criminal, yeah. Lawmakers, not windbreakers. Chemical ban knock the pulsate about to pop. Blown spaffer, yeah. Not a bit about that, yes. Tell your landlords to refresh train, and good people have a voice. Yes. Yeah, absolutely spanked her monkey, Matilda. She's priceless, isn't she? She's brilliant. I want to see the face of Andreva versus Chemical Toilet. She's finding out it's not easy to be head girl. Absolutely. And my view is, I just think she will not learn anything because in her eyes, she's right all the time by the looks of it. You know, she seems to think she has, maybe not a god complex, but I think she has. Good evening, Frederick Roth III. I hope you're well. Hope you have a lovely weekend too. Yes. Bell and Calgie from the Daily Excrete. Yeah. And I think she has, I wouldn't say, maybe not a god complex, but I think she's someone who thinks she knows better than anybody else. And I get the feeling if somebody tries to give her advice, I have a funny feeling she won't accept it. That's my thought process. But anyway, and because as I say, those are sort of questions you should. Can you imagine if that had come from Ed Davey, if he'd have been the leader of the opposition? It'd have had more weight, wouldn't it? Where it just won't wash with people like Chemical Kemi and this Tory party, because they've been awash with scandal after scandal and scandal. Yeah, Stephen Bank. Yeah, I think you're probably right. I just can't see lasting to the next election. Yeah, she's above her station and she will fall. Yeah, she will do. It's like I've watched her a couple of times where you just think, I've probably said this a few times when I've watched her at PMQs. It's like, two prize fighters, So Keir Starmer with his dodgy shorts and just puts his glove onto her forehead as she's windmilling like a lunatic, just trying to land a punch, and she's just landing nothing. Then she'll get back into the corner and think, I've nailed him. Absolutely nailed him. Yes, absolutely, Andrew Luke. That woman in Question Time played a low-budget villain in the last series of Blake 7. Blake 7, now that takes me back. Yes, but as I say, I've got two little interesting videos. I've got two interesting little videos from last night's PMQs, where you could basically say one's the worst of us and one's the absolute best of us. And let's just say this woman, it just blows my mind how awful some people can be. And let's just say our Nigel Farage, he'll have probably had a proper hard on under that desk when he heard this woman talk.
So can I ask you, do you think there are any grounds on which people should be able to come here and claim asylum?
The only grounds that I think...
Also, watch the woman outside of him, outside of her. Her face is very telling.
...that people should be allowed to come into the country is if they had the sufficient qualifications to do the jobs that we probably need.
And as far as asylum goes?
I don't believe in any asylum.
See her face there? Wow, she was thinking, wow, I'm shocked. I never saw that one coming. Wow, no heart. Cold as you like.
I really don't. I think we have taken more than our fair share in this country. I feel very sorry for the little towns, little villages that these people have been put, where people have lived all their lives and they're frightened.
But
they're absolutely frightened.
Do you feel sorry for the people who are fleeing war? Do you feel sorry for people fleeing persecution?
I think there's far too much made of this, that they're fleeing wars.
OK.
Right. All right. Jackie, you want...
Yeah. You just can't make it up, could you? Yeah. Yes, they make far too much of these wars. Unbelievable. As I say, you just witnessed the worst in humanity. So we're coming near to the end, and I'll get as quick as I can, but I just want to say, let's watch what I would class the best, where we watch a brilliant member of the audience, where let's just say he brings up a fantastic point, and let's just say he brings up a brilliant point, let's just say, and he restores my faith in humanity a little bit more. And when he brings up his point, guess who he's driving at? It's very, very interesting. Very, very interesting indeed.
The man in the red sweater there in the middle.
Yeah, I just recently went to the Holocaust Centre just outside of Newark, and it was a real wake-up call, because in the Germany in the 1930s, they were suffering economic difficulties because of the reparations of the First World War. And these people were desperate and was looking for something to improve their life. And somebody was saying, look, the problem with our society is the Jews. That's what's causing the problem. We will blame the Jews because they are ruining our country. Go forward now to this country. We are now blaming migrants. We are blaming immigrants for the ways in which our society is run. Migrants, illegal or legal, weren't responsible for austerity. That was the Conservative government. Migrants and illegals were not responsible for Brexit. Migrants were not responsible for Liz Truss's failure as leadership. And don't forget, because those populist policies in the 30s, a certain Adolf Hitler was elected. And if we follow the same rhetoric, the same blaming of migrants...
Jerry's laugh. Bartage's laugh. He knows exactly what he's talking about.
We will go in the same way. And the future of that path is very, very bleak.
I thought he was absolutely brilliant. Was that guy? I just thought he was absolutely spot on. And all I was saying, it's like, yes. So he went on to say, is there a war in Morocco? Is there a war in Algeria? I googled war in Morocco, and 3 top results were a 2024 threat of war between Morocco and Algeria. I'm the only refugee in the village. Yeah, absolutely, Stephen Bank and Jeannie Bottle. Yeah, the little Britain attitude from a closed mind, and they seem to think that these little village. If they were a refugee, why would I want to go to a little village? Now, I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with little villages, but you'd want to live in places where there's plenty of work if you can, because that's what you want to do. You don't want to be sat on your ass, do you? You want to be working. Yeah, absolutely, Andrew. Yeah, this guy, he was absolutely brilliant. Is that? Yes, yeah. She looks like the typical old lady who stare at you for having tattoos and piercings. Yeah, she probably would do, yes. So, hope you don't run into her then, because she will probably give you the 1,000-yard stare, the proper Clint Eastwood, the man with no name stare, Clinton you. But yeah, well said, that man in red jumper. And I think he's got an yes. But he's showing contempt to people with that. Yeah, he did have that. He did have that contempt look on his face, didn't he? Absolutely shocking. But anyway, I just wanted to give praise. The others did not clap. Wow. Yeah. It's a fantastic clip, and I enjoy listening to people like that, because he's clearly a man who's got empathy and compassion, and like we all here do. We recognise that people don't travel thousands of miles away, risk their lives just to sit on their arse and just claim very little money and do nothing. They want to contribute. They want to make a better life for themselves. And I just thought it was absolutely brilliant. Right, we're into the home stretch now. Yeah, Godley says, I just still don't understand why they gave Farage TV to. You do know he's a laughing stock who gets money from Cameo of all places. Yes. Totally agree. You do realise that this was Nigel Farage's 10,000th and 32nd appearance on Question Time. If I'd have been in audience, I'd have asked Fiona Bruce. I'd have asked, "What's it like knowing somebody on your panel has had more appearances on Question Time than you?" Oh, thank you, Frederick Roth. Thank you. But yes, but I just found him brilliant. Right, we're into the home straight now. Well, we're gonna have a few chuckles, and hopefully these will have us. We all love broken news, and we all love how they give us mirth and plenty of humour, while just basically just saying it as it is. It's just satire at its best, and Larry and Paul at their brilliant best. And let's just sit back and watch the way they just focus on real newsworthy issues. Brilliant.
Welcome to Broken News. People across the UK are being urged to focus on important issues such as gossip and celebrity affairs, and not on trivial matters like climate change, the cost of living and human rights suppression. The plea comes directly from Downing Street today, and our reporter has more.
As Whitehall reels from yet more controversy in a totally unrelated development, senior ministers have begged voters to please look over here at this thing over here now, please. Well, many people up and down Britain have been trying to focus on government overreach, incompetence and hilariously blatant corruption. But ministers say not enough attention is being paid to stories involving people you don't know, having full bum sex with other people you don't know. We're being encouraged to think more about which minor royal is fingering a minor. Which minor royal is fingering which other minor royal, rather than obsessing over tittle-tattle such as creeping authoritarianism and which senior cabinet member is basically a massive Chinese spy. In a show of solidarity, Britain's right-wing shitrag newspaper industry has agreed to leave any story involving major institutionalised fraud off its front pages. A statement from a group of tabloid editors says, rather than people focusing on fluffy stuff like ministers taking backhanders to strike multi-billion-pound arms deals with human rights abusing regimes, it's our job to make sure that people are angry about Iqbal from Bromsgrove, who got an extra 70 quid in universal credit by mistake. Back to you.
Pi, thank you. Well, in response, Downing Street has just released a statement that says, oh, what's that over there? Can you see that? Wasn't she dating that other guy before from that TV thing? What a big slut. What a lovely story. That's all from Broken News. You're up to date.
Yes, what a lovely story. I think the last line were a bit extreme, but... But yes, it's absolutely true. But let's just as we're hitting the festive spirit, as we're Christmas is just round the corner. This man speaks for the nation when it comes to. Have we all noticed that our tins of chocolate sweets? You know, the tins are getting smaller and smaller. Well, this man speaks for the nation. Take it away, Mr. T. Bernadetti. Take it away.
Stop fucking making the Christmas sweets smaller! They've reduced it to 550 grams. That wouldn't even get me fucking started. You wouldn't even make a dog sick with that much chocolate. That would make a dog sick, by the way. I always forget some people on the internet are very stupid. And it gets even worse. Wait till you see this. A 325 gram pouch. Fuck pouches. €7, 21.50 for a kilogram. That's nearly the price of gold. What's the price of gold? A kilogram of gold is 85,000, so it's not exactly the same, but it's getting dangerously fucking close. Shrinkflation, you are stealing Christmas from the common man. This is what Christmas is all about. You get up early in the morning, you eat sweets. You go for a little nap, then you get up and have breakfast and you eat sweets, and then you have a nap and then you have dinner and then you eat sweets. This is a human right on Christmas. I will not stand for this injustice. Follow me, I'm delicious.
Yes, he's delicious and spot on. He speaks for the nation. Stop making our tins of chocolate for Christmas smaller. It is against our human rights, and we will stand for it no longer. Speaking of somebody else who's delicious, we all recognise this wonderful, fantastic caller, the delicious Colin from Portsmouth, where he clearly is not happy about his grandson's nativity pay. Nativity pay. What an idiot I am. I nearly nailed it, and then at the final hurdle fell flat on my face and then lost the gold medal. What an idiot. I'm not happy with his grandson's nativity play. What a belt up. Take it away, Colin.
Colin from Portsmouth is on the line. Hello, Colin.
I am disgusted, absolutely disgusted.
What's happened now, Colin?
My grandson's primary school are doing their nativity play, right? But the school's gone woke, of course.
Oh, no, not another school gone woke. What are they doing, Colin?
They're having a pregnant migrant woman crossing a border with her husband, who isn't even the dad, and we're supposed to be happy that they're given a warm place to stay.
Well, that is the nativity story, isn't it, Colin? That's quite accurate.
Oh, you'd love it if if the Bible told us to be nice to refugees, wouldn't you? That would suit your Ramona agenda down to the ground. They're brainwashing our kids. And Rishi Greenfingers Sunak is doing nothing.
What role is your grandson playing, Colin? What part?
The donkey.
Ah,
the donkey.
that's lovely.
That's the biblical version of a small boat crossing the channel. I'm going to tell him on the day, son, you refuse to take them.
Yeah.
Show a bit of backbone. Unlike this woke tofu-eating mafia we call the UK. Tell Gary Bloody Lineker and James O'Brien we are not rolling over.
Where is a Herod when you need one, Colin?
Well, you say what you like about one of the most tyrannical rulers in the ancient world, but at least he'd bring in ID cards. Anyway, Anthony, thanks for having me on. Love to the family.
Love to the family, Colin. Love to the family.
That stable's far too good for him.
Yes. I totally agree. That stable's far too good for it. Yes, coming over here for a stable life. Yes. I just bought chocolate eclairs, hard sweets, and they are so small ones. The ones and they're gone. Yes, I know what you mean. Do you remember when we were kids? Remember the wagon wheels we used to get? You know, they used to be when we were kids. They'd cover your face, you know, for threepence halfpenny. Nowadays, when you look at your wagon wheel, it's a little bit like that, you know. You just look at it, it disintegrates as soon as you look at it, wouldn't it? You know, so I totally agree with you. Exactly, Alistair. Love to the family. Oh, anyway, I was trying to say, do you know what? This is one of my favourite times of the week. It's something I just wanted to just get used to doing, and as a bit of a improve my pattern on stuff like exactly, spank the monkey, well, the size of your hand and then some, and it help improve my pitter patter and get better live streaming and improve. But the more I've done these, the more I've enjoyed doing them, because you know, the 2 hour plus just seems to just fly by. I'll just start the first clip and then I'll just look straight away. Like, my God, where's 2 hours gone? I don't know how James O'Brien feels, you know, when he's doing his show. He says that often. But as they get present, gold, myrrh, and frankincense, yes. Fancy sense, yes. But anyway, I just want to say a couple of things before we go, because I'm sure there'll be other live streams that'll be probably starting now. I know Reagan Elite is not being very well. I hope you get well soon if you're still watching. And so, yeah, oh, thank you, Frederick. I enjoy doing these because it's become more something that I look forward to now and can't wait to do. Because we enjoy Fridays, so and it just seems to just fly by, and the more and more I do it, the more I enjoy it. So I'll be doing far more of these, and I just want to say thank you for stopping by, and I just want also, can you give us a I know you're right, Stephen Banky, I can talk a glass eye to sleep. You're right there. I can, you know, I'm horrendously bad at it. Good spot. But I just want to say, please, no, he did say I did see his note saying he's not well. So hopefully, get well regularly if he's still in the chat. But I just want to say, please give a massive round of applause for my fantastic moderators. And because again, they've, you know, gone beyond the Call of Duty, and I'm forever. It was only last an hour and 15 minutes. That's action. Good evening, my friend. If you take out the adverts and news, James O'Brien surely lasts an hour and 15 minutes. Yes. Yeah, you're probably right. But as I say, I just want to say a massive thank you for my moderators, and I just want to say have a lovely weekend, my friends, and thanks for stopping by, and thanks for making this as fun as I've enjoyed doing them. and have a lovely weekend. And I just want to say, take care, my friends, and have a lovely weekend. Bye-bye, and see you soon. Yes, see you Monday as well. Ta-ra, see you later. Bye-bye.